I can promise you, would be the most successful for us at K21 Academy if we are able to answer your doubts, each and every one. Today, my targets, for myself is that I succeed in answering majority of questions, if not all. So that's what today I'm planning to do as well. So we've got Sandeep here from with us today. He's from Indore, that's in India. He's working as a project coordinator. Plus, again, guys, please do answer that third question as well. Are you a beginner? Absolute beginner who do not know anything about the Scrum, or who just have heard about the technology? Are you an intermediate, somebody who have read blogs, who have maybe watched a few videos on it, and or are you somebody who's currently working on Scrum as a part of your job role or job as well? So make sure you answer these three questions. For the people who just joined in, I am asking these three questions to get to know you guys better. So please do answer these three questions, and let me introduce myself as well. My name is Shivansh Thakur. I am a community manager at K21 Academy, and I'll be your host and moderator for today's session. You can also, how would I say, consider myself a fellow traveler on this journey of yours of learning Scrum. So you can also consider me that. And like you would introduce yourself to the fellow traveler, please do introduce yourself to me as well. Uh, 𝐂𝐻𝐿, I'm really hoping that I pronounced your name right. I'm really bad with names, so really, really sorry if I pronounce your name wrong. But again, 𝐂𝐻𝐿, please do introduce yourself as well as to where are you currently located in the world, and what are you currently doing in your particular career as well. Are you a college student? Are you working in the IT industry? Are you somebody who's not working in the IT industry but wants to learn Scrum? So make sure that you answer these questions so that we can get to know you better. And the reason we want to get to know you better is that in the future, when we are bringing you these sessions, even if we are bringing you with new training programs, paid training programs as well, we can incorporate them better according to your needs. Again, yes, guys, all of you are muted from our end. The reason is we are expecting, and we will be having a lot of you guys here, so we cannot let you unmute yourself, because that would create chaos at one point or another when you are going to be asking your questions. So make sure whatever communications you want to do, whether it's answering my questions, whether it's asking your doubts, you do it directly in the chat window where you are mentioning all your comments right now as well. So please, it's a humble request from my end that you please do that. And this would, make the session much more streamlined, much more interactive for all of us. If you guys have any questions already as well, like before we start, like where is Scrum used in the industry? What are the different ways companies are using Scrum? Is there really a demand of Scrum Masters in the market? You can very well ask that as well. You have joined us from the US, and we're not currently working. We're in the US. We've got a few people here from the US. I see somebody's from Eric is from South Boston. He is currently working in tech. We've got Ajay here as well. He's also from US. So again, we've got people from US as well. I see majority of our audience, right? They join in from like all over the world. We have people here at times joining from UAE, Qatar, Indonesia as well, India, US, UK. So that I love the diversity that exists, and that we are able to influence these people. We are able to help them start their career journey in whatever cloud, in whatever field that we are wanting to do that, and that's just incredible. Okay, we've got okay. You're from Florida. That's great. Oh, that's incredible. That's incredible. Again, I'm really hoping, and I'm from the way we have constructed the entire webinar, I'm pretty sure it's going to really help you if you are somebody who's a beginner or trying to restart their career as well. So great to see that. Victoria is from Houston, Texas. I see a lot of people are from US today. So that's great. That's great to see that as well. Okay, we've got people from UK as well. That's incredible. That's incredible. Great to see you guys. Again, the timer hit 0, and we are starting this incredible session today on Agile Frameworks and Scrum Master Certification, being organized by your favorite cloud learning platform, K21 Academy, where you learn cloud from the experts. I hope I'm loud, clear, and audible on all the different platforms that we are live streaming on right now. I see we are live streaming on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, as well as on GoToWebinar. So guys, people who are watching me from whichever platform you're watching, can you please put it in the comment section whether I am fully audible and that you can hear me loud and clear. And for the people who are just joining in, please do introduce yourself in the chat window by answering these three questions for me. Number one, where are you currently located in the world? Number two, what are you currently doing in your particular career? And number three, what is the level of knowledge that you have on Scrum Master? Are you a beginner? Are you an intermediate? Are you somebody who's already working on Scrum? So again, please do answer these three questions in the chat windows so we get to know you guys better. And in the future sessions that we are bringing you guys, that it is much better for you guys and much catered to your individual needs as well. Okay, let's have a look at what you will be learning today. First, we're going to start with what is Agile, then Agile values and principles, then Agile frameworks, then we're going to be giving you a Scrum overview. After that, Scrum Master exam basics, Scrum Master, what is the demand in the market, in the job market, what is the salary that you can expect, and what are the job opportunities. Then we will be looking at roles and responsibilities of a Scrum Master. After that, live Q&A with our expert trainer as well. So that means, like I had mentioned in the initial part as well, whatever questions you have, whatever doubts you have, make sure that you put them down in the chat window. I am literally, personally myself, I'm looking at the comment section on all the different platforms, and I will be answering or will be picking up the questions directly with our expert trainer. So sorry about that. So please make sure that you are asking your questions. Scrum itself is a technology that is very, very high in demand. So make sure that you are asking your questions and you are, jumping on this train wagon of learning Scrum Master, because it will definitely help you add more value to your to your resume. Okay, let me introduce our expert trainer for this particular session. He's a Microsoft certified trainer. He's got extensive years of experience in the IT industry. He's a Scrum Master certified. He's a Scrum certified professional Scrum Master, level 1 as well as level 2. He's, like I mentioned, he's also a certified Scrum Master. He's also a certified Scrum Microsoft trainer, and a lot of different learners who are being taught by him. They have great things to say. Guys, I regularly interact with learners at K21 Academy, people who are a part of our paid training programs. And, I regularly interact with them and take feedbacks as to how we can how we can improve better, and what is the review of the trainer. After every session, we do that. Even today's live, we're going to do that once the session ends, in the later part of the session, not when the session ends. And I've always gotten great reviews. So I can personally recommend you. And by the time the session ends, you can also understand what I'm trying to say. You will also relate with that. He's a people person, passionate in helping people to meet their career goals. And today, I'm pretty sure by the time the session ends, you would also have that. Again, guys, if you already have not mentioned, please do mention it again, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or an expert on Scrum Master. Okay. That's great, Victoria. We have actually got this question today with us in our question bank as well. So that's great to see. Again, we will definitely be picking this up. Okay, I'm seeing a lot of beginners. I'm seeing a lot of intermediates as well. That's great. That's great to see. We've got Sandeep, Asim, Sunil on the social media platforms as well. Guys, please do comment whether you are a beginner, intermediate, or an expert in Scrum Master. So great to see this. Great to see this. Again, I see we have got a mixed bunch of people today with us. People who are, some of them are beginners, some of them are intermediates as well. So great to see that. Great to see that. Again, if you are a beginner or you are an intermediate, it's going to be really, really beneficial for you because of the way we have, carefully structured this entire session. Yes, Ashwin, we will be talking about certification details and certification cost. We will be talking about we will also be talking about what does the certification exam entails and what are, what's the percentage breakdown of the topics that are going to be coming in. So yeah, definitely we'll be covering that. Okay, before I hand it over to our expert trainer for this particular session, guys, make sure that you are focused, that you are listening everything, and whatever questions that you have, you are answering those directly. You are asking those, in the chat window. Again, we have got an incredible. Okay, is my audio less? So I see that my audio should be quite high, but please do mention if my audio is less. I'll make some changes in the setup and I'll come back again. But please do let me know if my audio is slightly low. Okay, I see people are fine with my audio. Amit, can you check maybe your earphones or something like that? If the audio problem is still there, maybe you can leave the session and join in again, and that will be fine. Okay, cool. It's fine now. Thank you very much. Okay, so guys, again, make sure that you are asking your questions. Please don't hold back. This session will be more successful for us, even at K21 Academy, if we are able to answer your questions. So throughout the session, make sure you're asking your questions. Okay, I'm gonna be handing it over to our expert trainer now, so that we can then begin. Sir, I've given you the access. So Prashant, I've given you the access. You are on mute if you're able to speak. Uh, I think we are facing some sort of technical issue, guys. Just a sec. Okay, guys, I see a lot of you guys are asking questions, so I'll just have a look with that. Can you help with project referrals? Victoria, as a part of our training program that we have for Scrum Master, we do have an end project at the end of the training program. So yeah, definitely. And throughout the session is throughout the training program as well, we do have hands-on labs associated with Scrum Master that you can take part in. And regularly, almost every module that we have dedicated hands-on lab as well. That really helps you get a practical feel of how it happens in a practical space as well. Okay, Matapat, my team, how I want you to do one thing, Matapat. How about I think my team would probably be able to answer this better. So Ankit, could you answer this? Or Matapat, how about you just drop down your I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, again, I'm not the best with the names. So just drop down your just a second, guys. Let me take the access back first. I think there's some issue, technical issue. My team is in the back end is trying to is trying to get it resolved. But in the meantime, at least you'll be able to see this. Okay. So whatever you just drop down your phone number along with the country code and your email, and somebody from my team will get in touch with you. And whatever problems you're facing, we'll try to resolve that. Okay, great. Okay, guys, again, in the meantime, while we are, trying to resolve these doubts and issues, if you guys have any questions, make sure you put them down and, we'll pick them up. As for Eric, the question that you have asked, what is Scrum used for? We are going to be covering that as well. Okay, we've got a nurse here with us as well. Oluchi. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. I'm really bad with names. Okay. Yep. Great question, Sukanta. Great question. Again, something that we are going to be covering. I we I don't know how what kind of, I think it's a mental connection of sorts, because majority of the questions that you are asking, either we are directly covering them, they are a part of the presentation itself, or we have them in the question bank we have with us today as well.
Can you all able to hear me, Shivanshan?
Okay,
Hello?
now I'm able to hear you, sir.
Oh,
We will
perfect.
actually
Yeah, I'm
trying to
sorry.
do
Like I was just trying to talk and I wasn't totally on mute and I just just kept my mobile also silent. Yeah, let
it's fine.
me.
I'll
Yeah,
make you the organizer,
thank
sir.
you,
No
thank
worries on
you.
that.
Sorry for the Yeah, sure, sure. Let me go ahead and get started. And before that, welcome everyone. So I see that a lot of diversified people who have joined for this meeting. That's really good to hear. And I see that most of y'all are beginner to this, right? So that's really interesting because I see that all of y'all are having a very good exposure towards IT, and most of you want to know what exactly is this Agile and Scrum and how this is going to be helpful for us. Okay, now I know that there are a lot of questions which are there running in your mind. What should I do? How should I proceed further? What are the things which we have to work on? Like, yeah, there are a couple of things which are there in your mind. What I would do is I will make it very simple. Okay, so we will go as simple as possible and we would actually try to understand like what we have to do and how we need to proceed further. This is one of the important thing which we should be able to consider. Okay, so before that, just want one confirmation: that is my screen visible and is my voice audible? Is both the things are appropriate from my end?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Perfect. Yeah, thank you for the confirmation. So now, before I talk about what is agile and all of these things, right, so we should be little bit going backward and try to understand what we generally do in the software field. Okay, not only in software, let me say if you take any field on your own, okay, there is a process which we follow in order to deliver anything, right? It may be a product, it may be a software, it may be anything what you want to deliver at the end of the day. We should definitely be following a proper process for it. Okay, without having a process, what happens? We will just go and try to do in whatever way we want. At the end of the day, we will not be able to achieve for what we were actually desiring, right? The very simple example I will say, let me say today, if you see at the start of the event, Shivansh was giving a proper introduction, and then you were giving your introduction, and then now I start, and then again we will go in a proper pattern. There is an outcome behind this respective webinar which we are having, so that all of you will be able to get to know what is this agile, what is this scrum, so that you'll have a proper clarity. See, that is the process. So we laid a process, we kept a timeline, we said that, hey, so and so date, and this is the time which you need to follow, and we have to proceed forward like that, right? This is a process where we are streamlining the things in a better way so that all of us will get a mutual benefit out of it, right? It is a very simple example. You don't need to think about as IT, you don't need to think about a software or from where you have come. Okay, it's a very simple thing. We are following a proper process to make the things very clear to you and as well as to me. It's as simple as that. So even when you develop a software or when you develop a product, always there should be a process laid. Without a process, you are not creating anything out of it then, right? So process is very important, not your product. Yes, to be very clear here, the process of creating the product is very important, because if you have that in a proper place, then everything will fall into the line. It may be the quality of your product, it may be the development cycle, it may be, or ultimately when you're going to release that product to the market, people can be able to achieve the best outcome from your product because you have a very strong process laid. Let me say today the webinar is scheduled, for example, at so and so time. Okay, now we don't start at that time, we start after an hour. Okay, so will you be able to get an outcome out of this? Even though we are following the same thing, but after 1 hour we go and try to do instead of going with a whatever the timeline which we have fixed, right? So we will go and start after 1 hour, but we will achieve the same things. We will again explain the same things, but somewhere we have missed the process here, right? So that is the point which I want to say here. We need to stick to a process and then go in a right direction. That is the very key thing. You may see any product, it may be your mobile, it may be your any application, whatever you see in the market, everything has come with a proper process. Otherwise, you will not be able to utilize anything, nor you can be able to go with a proper outcome. So you have to be very clear first with that part. Okay, once that is done, okay, then your deliverable will come into the market. So then that is a different story which I don't want to target, at least at this point of time. Now you may be thinking in your mind, what is the correlation between what I said and how we want to correlate it with what I am showing here, what is agile? Simply, if I would say, when I talk about agile in this case, right, you should be very clear. Agile is actually a methodology. Okay, when I say agile, right, this is more of like it is your methodology which you should be able to consider. Now, what is this agile methodology? What are the things which you should be able to consider here? What are the things which I should be able to understand as part of it? So these are some things which will definitely come into your mind. Always remember one thing. Let me say I give you a particular product to deliver. Okay, let me say this is a product, any product, it may be, let us say, e-commerce platform. Okay, just for an example, I'll say, hey, go and try to develop an e-commerce platform. Now you say me, okay, I will develop an e-commerce platform for you, but I will take around 5 years or 2 years of time for this. Now, living in this dynamic market, if somebody gives a timeline of 2 years, 5 years, you will run away from that business and you will see someone else in the market. I hope that all of you are aware, right? Because you say that, okay, you give me the whatever the requirement you want, I will come back after 2 years and I will show you the outcome of the product. How it is gonna be? It is really gonna be very difficult. Why would I invest money, time, and everything when it is gonna take a lot of time for me to go ahead and try to see my product? So this is the problem, not right now. This is the problem there from the early 1990s. Okay, no, I'm not talking all of a sudden about these things. These are already there from the year 1990 itself. Even the internet also has not arisen by that time. But still this problem was there. That how to deliver a huge chunk of a product at one go. It is a really a very big problem, right? You take 2 years of time, and then you try to invest your time, you invest on your employees, you make your product, and then at the end of the 2 years or the 3 or whatever the timeline is fixed, finally the end user will say, hey, what is that which I expected and what is that you're delivering? I am not satisfied with this. That's it, you're gone. Okay, your 2 years of effort has gone, your time has gone, your employees, whatever they have invested on top of this, everything has gone into vain. Now, this is a very big problem. What is that which we can be able to achieve from here? And how is that we are going to go and proceed with this? This is really going to become a very big problem for us. And this is a problem even today also. And this model which we are following is at a very high risk zone. But from early 90s, people were thinking about it, but no one knows how to approach. No one has got an idea what to do, how to do this work. See, you know that you can't deliver the major chunk, but even we are not even ideating or getting some ideas how to do with this. So all of a sudden, people had an idea that what we have to do, how we have to work on it, but they don't know how to go with a process, what to do, how to divide the product. They don't have that idea. It is making their work very complex, but they don't know what to do with it. So all of a sudden, in the year 2001, okay, a group of developers, like approximately 17 people, they have joined in one particular place, and then they have created something called as the Agile Manifesto. Okay, I will go one by one about everything. So just listen like a story. Don't try to understand that, hey, I'm learning some technical jargons or any such things. Okay, I am just giving you a overview. Just take it as like a story, understand it in a better way, so that you can correlate all these terminologies in a much better way. Okay, so in the year 2001, 17 people have gathered, and then they said that, hey, I know that the people who have been suffering from delivering a huge chunk of a product, we have come up with a process like where you, me, all of us can get benefited in the long run. People were very much excited because it took almost like how many years? 11 years to come up with some manifesto. And even this manifesto is appropriate or not, also, we don't know until and unless we implement it. Otherwise, we never know whether this manifesto is really going to be beneficial for us or how we are going to take this forward. Right? So the point to be noted here is, you see that now in this case, after approximately 11 years, we came up with an Agile Manifesto. Now this Agile says, hey, rather than creating the product at one entire unit, why don't we split the product? Why don't we split the product and try to deliver? I will give you the process. You follow the methodology, whatever I am going to let you know as an Agile, follow that and try to deliver to the customers where they will get satisfied. So if you say 2 years or 3 years, obviously they will not get satisfied. So look for something which can be helpful for your customers and for you. As a developer, when you are developing this application, you should be happy. And at the other end, if you see the end user who is present, right, the end user should also be very happy. That is the total outcome. Whatever we are able to create, everyone should be happy with whatever the outcome has come. That's how the entire environment should be present. So the point to be noted here is, when I would be letting you know what exactly is this Agile Manifesto in the upcoming slides, you will get a very good picture. But remember one thing, when I talk about the Agile means it is a methodology. Okay, Agile is just a methodology which says that, hey, you need to follow these things in order to achieve the better outcome. So 3 key things which you should be able to observe here, which Agile says is, if whatever the product you have, try to split your product into multiple areas. Rather than saying an entire e-commerce application, better you can create a login page, you can create your cart, you can create your billing page, and then you can create your tracking the order, right? So you can go one by one and try to do it, right? Instead of doing it at one go, let me say complete your login page, deliver it to your customer, get the feedback from them, and then this is done. This is one of the increment which you have completed. In your entire e-commerce platform, you achieved one feature or one increment. Then you will move on to cart. This is another increment, which you will be able to complete it. Then once this is done, you will get the feedback from your customers and you will work on it. And then you will go with the next one. So step-by-step approach, you're completing your features, which we call it as iterations. And then you are trying to deliver the final outcome to your customer. And your customer will also be very much happy, because your customer is seeing that rather than waiting for 2 years and just observing that whether we will be able to get the desired outcome or not, we are breaking the product into multiple areas and we are trying to deliver. So ultimately, the end user or the customer will definitely be very much happy with whatever we are trying to do, right? Let me say, you yourself assume as a customer, and if you ask me that, hey, I want to develop a, let me say, a food application where I want to go ahead and try to handle all the restaurants. Okay, then I will say, oh, your idea is really fine. I would take around 1.5 years or 2 years to complete this, and then I will try to deliver it to you. Then you will say, what? No, then I have to look for someone else. The someone else is following this approach, like Agile. Agile methodology, now he or she says you that, hey, fine, you come, you want to design a food application, fine, I will try to do it for you, and I will use an agile methodology where I will not take your entire application at one go. We will discuss and we will see how to break that into multiple chunks, and we will see what are different features which will come out of it, and then we will try to deliver all those features in an iteration pattern, so that once it is completed, we will deliver it to you. You will have a look into it, you will provide your feedback. Once everything is completed, that part is set to be done. Then we will move on to the second feature, third feature. In that way, we will complete all the iterations, and we say that it is completed at the end of the day. Like, I mean to say, as you keep on completing all the features on one fine day, definitely once you complete all the features, your product is set to be ready. Now see how much difference it is. If you observe how much difference you could be able to see from this entire process. This is what is agile. This is what is a new way of working. This is what is required for our dynamic market. The market is rapidly changing, and if you at least sit for a month itself, that itself is actually a very longer time. Forget about 1 year and 2 years. Right? You see how Bajaj, Chetak, Nokia, these people, how they have actually, they were sitting ideal for some time in the market, and they were thrown aside, and then a lot of people have come into the market again. Right? You can't sit idle in the market when you're running a business. You have to keep on making sure that you are delivering something, not the other, with respect to your product, to be alive in the market. And for that, the agile is the best way, like where you can segregate your work and make sure that you are able to like go ahead and try to release a component by component, or a feature by feature, or an increment by increment. However it is convenient for you, you can just try to think in that direction. This is one of the most important aspect which you should be able to consider. And in order to deliver this login page, cart, billing, all this, which are the features, right? Once you segregate the product, you'll get a multiple features, right? So from there, you also need to be able to consider that whatever which is being present, right? Whatever the things which are being present over there, there will be a timeline present for it. So within that timeline, you will be able to deliver all these features. Okay, so that is another important aspect to be considered. So this is how agile got nurtured slowly, and then it came into reality. Okay, so now if I go one step forward, I will try to make you understand it in a much better way. See, here it says what exactly is an agile. As I said you, right, very clearly, okay, this is gonna make your customers feel very valuable, because you are not saying your customer that, hey, wait for 2 years, then I will come and show you what is required, right? It is not the right approach. Instead, you're saying that, okay, let us break that into multiple components. Let's work one by one, and I will try to show it to you. I will get your feedback, and then I'll try to work on it. See how much difference it is there between the first and second thing, right? So that means you are creating a lot of value to your customers by using an agile methodology. Okay, and then if you see, instead of betting on the entire application, you can just target in a small increments, so that you can be able to plan, and then you can be able to deliver the whatever the feature which you're gonna work on. For example, if it is an e-commerce platform, you can break it into multiple chunks, like login page, cart, billing, shipping, tracking the order, one by one feature you can be able to complete, and then you can be able to provide that outcome to your end user. Okay, and this is what is the process, like where you can design, develop, test, release, ultimately, and get the feedback. Okay, so it starts, the cycle starts like this, and then finally you'll be getting the feedback. So first you will see what we have to do, how we have to go ahead with it, and then you will design it, you will develop, you will test, you will release, and then you'll get the feedback. Okay, so if you see here, the total cycle which is involved, right, this is for every feature it will be involved. Like it is a login page, or it is a let me say cart, or it may be a shipping page. This is a cycle which will be repeated continuously, like where in order to enhance the quality, we have to go through it. Please understand this point. When we are using agile methodology, we also give a more importance to quality also. Otherwise it will become a rework, right? For example, I said you to deliver the login page. Now you delivered, But unfortunately, that is not working for the end user. Again, that will come as a rework and we need to put extra time over there, which is actually not a good practice, right? Take time, but try to deliver the best quality product so that as an end user, they should be really feeling happy when they are trying to utilize your product in the market. So that is another important aspect to be considered over here. Okay, so once when we come back and try to see whether the quality it may be or whether the deliverable which we have provided, it should be smooth and clear. That is the reason we are talking about agile and all of those things, right? Otherwise, what is the point of talking agile when it is not achieving the outcome of what the end user is expecting? We are making the process simple by breaking the product into multiple components and then trying to deliver all those small chunks to our customers, getting the feedback from them, working accordingly to whatever the feedbacks they have sent so that it can always be benefited for them. And then we will break the entire product into multiple chunks and we will try to deliver one by one, and the final product will be provided to them at one go, where all these features are already tested and we have worked along with our like customer feedback and everything, and then everything is right now ready so the people can be able to use very happily that product. Okay, so this is the main thing which we should be able to consider from here. So now if I would proceed further again, okay, so now what it is, agile is a mindset. Always remember one thing, agile, if you want to use agile, right, how much ever I may explain to you, you will really like it. Oh, really nice that agile is doing this, that is really nice. But until and unless you don't have a mindset to follow it, right, there is no point in talking about agile 100 or 1000 times also. Agile is all about mindset. If you want to use agile to the maximum extent in your organization or to your product, you should change your mindset. It is all about mindset only. You are having the same mindset like, no, I will deliver my product, whatever may be the scenario, then please don't use agile. Okay, so agile should be only used as per the dynamic market requirement. If you are not using agile, you know that you will go back again like Nokia, what has happened to those mobiles, and then those Bajaj Chetak and all of those things which stopped from a long time in the market. If you are going to use agile, you will be rapidly going with your dynamic market and you will be able to fulfill whatever the requirement which your customers are having. So agile is all about mindset. If there is a point to be asked like what is an agile, immediately you should say agile is a mindset. If you have that mindset, agile is yours. Simple. Okay, you can correlate a lot of things when you are automatically changing the mindset towards what exactly is an agile. So what is that mindset? Whatever I explained, yeah, you got an exposure or an idea towards what is an agile, but what exactly is the mindset which I should be able to have in order to achieve this agile? So now I would go step by step and I will make you understand like what is that which is being there in the agile. So as I said, it is again more or less the same slide only, like where you could see that we have agile as a mindset, and then where we have 4 values and 12 principles. So I will explain to you what are those values and principles so that you can correlate it in a much better way. Okay, so let's delve into agile values and principles. So here I want to make the things very simple. Okay, let's not make the things very complicated. Here, if you see, this is a left hand side part, and towards here this is a right hand side, right? In this case, whatever towards the left hand side which are there, that is having a very high importance, and towards the right hand side whatever is there is also having the importance. But if you ask me the priority is towards the extreme left hand side. Let's see what is that one by one. See, individual interaction should be given a very high priority over the processes and tools. So your focus should always be on interacting with the individuals, understanding them, what is that which is required, how we can be proceeding, what is that which we should be able to do. So individual interaction will give you a lot of thoughts, a lot of ideas, a lot of understanding, rather than focusing more on your processes and tools. If you have a proper interaction, if you have a proper communication, automatically you will be able to utilize these processes and tools in a much efficient way. Okay, then it says your working software has a more priority than your comprehensive documentation. So your focus should more be towards the working software. The software should work. You should work in such a way, like where whatever the product you are trying to work on, right, it should give you a great benefit, right, rather than sitting and documenting all those works. So the preference should be given more to the working software than on your comprehensive documentation. Documentation is required, but not for everything you have to document it, right? If there is something which has to be documented, yes, you should be able to do that. Many people think, no, Agile is against documentation. Please don't think like that. Agile says do documentation, but please don't do a comprehensive documentation for everything you go and try to write a document, right? Your preference should be more on the working software, because that is what is required for the end user. Along with that, it is for your safety. By any chance, let me say, if you go and try to deliver a very complex project, by any chance, if you want to come back and try to refer for any important documentation, at least there should be some documentation available, but not for everything you have to document and waste your time. Okay. And then customer collaboration. Customer collaboration is very important than your contract negotiation. So customer collaboration here means you are collaborating with your customer, right? As I said, you are breaking your product into multiple chunks, and all those chunks you are delivering it to your customers, and you're talking with them and you're asking them their valuable feedback. That means you are collaborating with the customer. You're not sitting ideally for 2 years by not even interacting with them, not even talking to them. So that is going to become a very different environment, right? So, but whereas here you're not giving that scope. As and when you're able to complete your feature and all of those things, you are able to go ahead and try to talk to them, right? So you are able to achieve whatever is required for you. So there is a very good amount of customer collaboration being present here, which is indeed a very good thing. And you can also be able to go ahead and try to have this collaboration, because you are able to achieve every feature and you're trying to talk to them. They are also able to see your work, and you could be able to get whatever is required even from them in the form of a feedback, and even they will also be satisfied, rather than thinking about what contract we should sign, what should be the contract rules. So automatically, if you're having a great collaboration, everything will fall in line. So we don't need to focus much again on contract negotiation. And then responding to change. This is one of the key things. Okay, in the Agile, as per the dynamic market requirement, you see that at any point of time, the market changes. So as per the market, you have to change your product also. So you always need to be ready to respond to change. Whenever you're using Agile, you should be very much ready to go ahead and try to respond to that change. Whenever, if any requirement comes to you that, hey, customer comes and says, or a stakeholder comes and says that, hey, go and try to immediately add this feature for us, because this is something I'm expecting that this is going to create a great boom for this quarter or for our product. In order to sustain this product, or in order to make a product highlighted, let's add this feature. Then immediately you will see that, oh, automatically there will be a lot of users will come and they'll start utilizing it. If in best example is, you know, that great Indian sale, or let me say you see that a big billion day, and you see that in other countries also, there will be all of a sudden some offers will be coming up in e-commerce platforms. Like, again, you have to respond. Let me say I don't want to give any discounts. I want to go with the same way how I'm going. It doesn't matter, even my competitors are doing that. If you sit like that, you know what will be the impact of the business. So you should respond to change as per the dynamic market requirement. That's when you're going to evolve in the market, and your product will also really have a limelight, so that everybody can be able to come and try to utilize your product. So you should always be able to respond to change, rather than always sticking to a plan and know whatever may be the scenario, I will just stick to my plan. If you're going to be like that, then definitely it is going to create a big impact for your product. Better respond to change as and when we progress, and then try to ultimately ensure that whatever is required for your product, you're accommodating it as per the market requirement, and then you're allowing your product to take that up, rather than sticking and saying that, no, this is my plan, I'm going to stick like this, whatever may be the scenario, I will be in this way. Then ultimately on one fine morning, your product also will go away, and you will totally get out of the business. So these are the important values which you have to consider. And as I said, what is Agile? Agile is a mindset. And that mindset comprises of 4 values. Now, if you see here, these are the 4 values which I have tried to target to you right now. Okay. So here it just says you have to always prefer your individual interactions. That means a greater communication. You should always focus on your working product, that is your working software. You should always focus on your customer collaboration, where you can collaborate with your customer and make them feel really satisfied. You should always respond to change, so that if anything comes in the dynamic market, you should be able to accommodate it. And Agile is providing you all these important values where you can get a lot of benefit for your product in the market. So these are the 4 important values which you should be able to consider in terms of Agile values. But remember one thing, what is Agile? Agile is a mindset, right? In this mindset, you have 4 values. Along with these 4 values, you also have another important thing. What is that right now? So those are your 12 principles, right? Now let's go and try to target those 12 principles and see exactly what are those 12 principles, and we will try to correlate everything at one go. Okay. So let me go one by one and then try to explain to you out. Here, if you see the 12 principles, already we covered the 4 values. Right now, we are going to cover the 12 principles. Okay, the values are done. So now I would be going up with my principles. Okay, so all of these both are present in your Agile Manifesto only. If you remember, I said, right, all those 17 developers, they gathered and then they were being able to identify these things, and then they have created the total methodology, where we discussed right now about 4 values, and now we will see the 12 principles. And this seems to be very simple. If you can just be able to understand every point, it's very, very simple. Okay, I will not go into every detail of it, but just I will give you a gist of how this is very important for us. Okay, if you see the principles of Agile, the first and important thing here is to satisfy the customer. Okay, the important point to be considered here is, first you should be able to go ahead and satisfy your customer. See, whatever process you follow, whatever methodology you follow, okay, you follow whatever you wish. Ultimately, whatever you have been able to create with respect to the product or the software, we should always try to target to satisfy the customer. Now, that is something which the Agile is giving a very high importance. Like whatever you're going to design, it should able to be satisfy the customer. Then only you can be able to do the things in a better way. Okay, the next thing should be welcome the changing requirements. As I said, right, you should always respond to change. Okay, you should always respond to change. As I said, whenever if there is any changing requirement, you should welcome it. You should not resist, saying that no, I don't have capacity, no, I wouldn't be able to take it up because my mind thinks in one direction. Now you come and try to say me in other direction to work, I can't be able to do. No, that is what I said, right? You have to change your mindset. If you want to use Agile, change your mindset. Then only you can be able to achieve the values and principles which are outlined in the Agile Manifesto. So you should be able to go ahead and try to fulfill all the changing requirements as per the dynamic market requirement. Keep on delivering the working software frequently. As I said, you should be able to deliver all your working software very frequently. As I said, rather than taking 2 years and completing it, go like if I would say part by part in the form of a features, try to deliver, get the feedback from your customer, and in that way you will also be able to achieve a greater outcome instead of waiting for a longer time. Make sure that as a team you are collaborating, and along with that you collaborate with your customers, get some feedback, get some insights. Within the team also, many of the people will be diversified team members having a lot of technical knowledge. You all can discuss, you all can be able to talk and see what is the best which we can achieve. And then you should be surrounded with a motivated individuals. Everyone should be motivated. The atmosphere should be so nice that every team member should be able to trust each and everyone. That is when we are able to achieve the best outcome. In the team itself, if we are having a lot of conflicts, then that is going to become a very big issue. So what you should be able to do is, when you are working in an Agile environment, we have to make sure that we are being there or surrounded with a motivated individuals, like who can actually help us out in whatever we want to achieve. Okay, and then face-to-face conversations are also a very good practice, because as you know, whatever it may be, for whether we are being connected through online, you know that we are able to communicate, but again, you know how effective is a face-to-face conversation. The preference is always given to face-to-face conversation, but these days, you know how the pandemic has come in and everything has moved towards the online. Okay, where we go ahead and try to connect through Zoom or maybe in other ways wherever it is feasible. But again, we are ensuring that the communication is still alive, even though it is face-to-face conversation or whether we are going through virtual connection, but ultimately we are able to achieve it. Okay, and then we are also measuring the progress. Okay, as and when we are able to go ahead and try to complete each and every feature, right, we are also trying to measure the progress with which we are actually moving. And we are also promoting a proper development. It is not something like whatever you want you are able to do. We are going with a proper pace so that we can be able to achieve whatever is required. Okay, and we always focus on technical excellence. It's not like within the team, when we are using Agile, we are not upgrading or we are not upskilling ourselves. So we will also get the time to go ahead, upgrade and upskill ourselves. And remember one thing, in the Agile, when you are being as a team, you have to make sure that whatever knowledge you have, you should always be able to share with the other team members and vice versa. If they have any knowledge, they will also be sharing it with you. So this is, the model is called as cross functional. Okay, we generally call it as a cross functional, like where whatever the domain knowledge or technical knowledge, whatever is present, we should be able to share everything as a team, so that all of us will have a good technical excellence rather than focusing on one person or two persons in the team. Okay, simplicity is essential. As I said, let's make the work as simple as possible. Let's not make the work very tedious or very complex, like where we ourselves don't know what to do and what we will be able to achieve at the end of the day to the customer. So you have to make the work as simple as possible so that we can deliver the outcome in a much clear and in a better way. And once we are clear with every outcome, right, we can also deliver a very quality product rather than thinking a lot of things in our mind. Okay, and then self-organized teams. Self-organized teams means, here let me say we are all one team. No, I don't need to say to every one of you that, hey everyone, listen to me, hey, okay, just we have to focus what I'm saying. I don't need to say, because I have an impression that all my participants can be able to go ahead and they will understand whatever I'm saying. And whenever there is a question, definitely they will let me know, because I have the confidence, because I know that my team is self-organized. I don't need to go and micromanage everyone saying that, hey, whether this person is listening or not, what is this person gonna do? I don't need. So agile environment is also like that. As a team, you should be able to know what you have to work on rather than somebody coming and trying to impose a work onto you. So it's very simple, like where you know what you have to do and you can be able to deliver it. Okay, so nobody is going to come and try to say to you that, hey, you have to work on this or you have to complete this. So as a self-organized team, we should be aware, or we should be able to know what is that which we are trying to do, rather than we being going and focused on some other things. Okay, so we should be a proper team, like where we know what we have to do, rather than somebody comes and says us that you have to work on this or you have to work on that. Okay, and then you should always regularly see yourself, like how you are improving. Okay, you should continuously improve in an agile environment. So you should also reflect yourself that how am I improving, how is my team improving, what is that we are achieving, are we able to achieve everything appropriately, are there any concerns, are there any blockers. Always we have to reflect ourselves and see as a team or as an individual that whether we are continuously improving, or are we backward, or are there any problems being present. We should always regularly retrospect ourselves. Okay, these are the key principles of agile, which is very, very important for us to be following an agile methodology at the organization level. In order for you to use an agile, you should be having a very good exposure towards these values, which are 4 in number, and then principles, which are 12 in number, which I explained to you right now. Without having this, okay, so you can't be able to achieve the agile to the maximum extent. So these are the 2 key points which we should be always considering in our mind. If you understood these 4 values and 12 principles, right, so now you can be able to correlate a lot of things which I'm going to explain to you. Okay, just if I show the slide itself, you can be able to correlate a lot of things, because whatever has been designed, okay, everything has come from the agile methodology only. Okay, so these are the points which you should be able to consider with respect to agile. If you see here, these are your values and these are your principles, 4 values and 12 principles. Okay, now if you see the difference here, agile versus waterfall, again I wouldn't take much time, because already you know what is agile. Agile breaks the product into multiple components and we try to deliver in a feature wise. So whatever is present in a waterfall here, like first we will define the requirement, we will design it, we will code it, we will test it, and we will implement it, right? Whatever is present here. Now in the waterfall, what happens? You will take around 2 years of time and you will go step by step, one by one, everything you will complete it, right? So until design is not completed, coders will be just sitting idle. Until code is not done, test people will sit idle. Whereas in our agile, we will follow the same approach. I'm not saying that we'll go in a different way, but instead of waiting for 2 years, we will break this into multiple iterations or multiple components. For example, for the feature, we will try to work on this. It's done. Next, we will go for first feature is login page, and second feature will be your cart page. Third feature will be your shipping page. For every feature, we will try to complete, and maximum within a month or less than that, we have to go ahead and try to complete. You should not take more than a month, okay? Because that is the rule. There are some time box events which we need to follow. Okay, so you have to complete whatever you completed, whatever you have committed, because already you know your timeline is 1 month. Okay, so then what you can do, instead of creating the entire login page, you can focus on registration page. You can put a login, that is a user ID and password, and you can set some prerequisites. And in the next month, you can focus on MFA, multi-factor authentication, and other important things to be added. I'm not saying that at one go you complete off, but at least you should be readily available for at least 1 month or less than that, in order to achieve or in order to show whatever you have done, so that your customers can give you the feedback and you can proceed further. That is the big difference between agile and waterfall. Agile, there is a very good visibility and transparency, whereas your waterfall does not have that. So you see that until 2 years, don't know what is going to happen, and it is going to be very difficult. Now, whereas the same process, we are using it at multiple iterations, and we are able to achieve these features, getting the feedback from the customers, trying to collaborate with them, and whatever they require, we are achieving it part by part, so that they are happy, we are also happy, that we are also able to achieve whatever is required. Okay, waterfall is the old model, the traditional model which we used to use. Right now all the organizations are moving into agile methodology because of the dynamic market which has been running. And by seeing the values and principles itself, you would have got an idea like how it is very much important for the dynamic market. I don't need to say why it is important. By this time you yourself would have been seen that why the agile is very important when compared to traditional waterfall model. Okay, so these are again the important point which I want to highlight when you want to see the difference between an agile and waterfall approach. Now, do you use Scrum? Can anyone say me like, hey, do you all use Scrum, or otherwise is it something new to you all? So maybe like most of you may use the Scrum, most of you may not be aware totally about the Scrum. Some people may know, but again, you don't have a proper clarity that what is the Scrum all about. So I will give a clarity right now. The people who already know, I will give you some extra things. The people who don't even know anything, I will give you the basics. The people who know here and there little bit, but you're confused, I'll clear the confusion. Okay, so this is one of the important point to be considered here. When I talk about Scrum, I want to just highlight one important thing. With that, you will understand the entire Scrum. Okay, for example, let me say whatever I discussed right now, right? Agile, right? Agile is just a methodology. Okay, your agile is a methodology. Under this, there are a lot of frameworks available. So one such framework is your Scrum. So Scrum is a framework which is being designed in order to achieve all the values and principles of agile. So whatever in the Agile Manifesto, the values and principles are laid, right? So the Scrum is trying to achieve all those values and principles which is being highlighted in Agile. So Agile is your methodology, Scrum is a framework which is being designed in order to achieve all the outcomes which are being defined in the Agile Manifesto. Okay, so these are the points to be considered here. So now whatever the Scrum which I say, it is more or less similar to Agile only. Because what I'm saying here right now, Scrum is a framework which tries to achieve all the values and principles which are outlined in Agile. So automatically, by making you understand, you can be able to see that Scrum is nothing but ultimately it is trying to achieve whatever is there in the Agile Manifesto right now, which we have discussed about the 4 values and 12 principles. Okay, so now if I want to go ahead and try to explain to you exactly what is a Scrum. So first of all, in order to know what is a Scrum, right? So let me first go ahead and try to explain you that part. Okay, now from now on, it will be very easier for you to understand. Okay, so Scrum is also a framework. Okay, we use a Scrum as a framework where it can make the things simple. Okay, so here, whenever you want to deliver a complex product, it's always the Scrum as a framework will be helpful for you. So here the Scrum also follows the iterative and incremental. What is iterative and incremental? As I said you, right? You keep on going. It's not like you complete your login page, you will take a break of 2 months, you will come back and then try to deliver your cart page. No, it is an iterative cycle. You keep on continuously moving. So first you will complete your login page and then you move on with your cart and then you move on with your shipping page. It's a continuous process which keeps on happening, and this is an incremental. You are just creating part by part and you're ensuring that your product is getting completed, and the cycle is also iterative. 1 month if you completed login, immediately you will need to go with the next feature and then again immediately to the next feature. It's not like you're taking a break, coming back from a long break and then trying to work on it. So Scrum is more or less like it works in a same iterative and in an incremental pattern, because again it also works accordingly with the Agile, because as I said, Scrum as a framework is trying to achieve all the values and principles which are outlined in Agile. Okay, so we are using the Scrum as a framework, and we are also making sure that these 3 pillars are also being highlighted. One is your transparency. We are ensuring that whatever work we are doing, we are transparent. We are not manipulating any data. We are not trying to show a wrong figure. So whatever we are doing, either we are succeeding or either we are failing, we always try to be transparent. And then we try to adapt. If there is any new things, if there are something which has an improvement which we need to take as a team, we will always be ready to adapt to it. But how will you adapt before inspecting it? So you always need to inspect, you always need to reflect as a team that what is that which you all are doing, how we have to achieve, what are some outcomes which we should be able to take care of, all these things which you should be first inspecting. Once you inspect, then you will get the areas like where we have to improve, what are the things which we should be able to do. Then we can proceed further and we can adapt as per what is that which is something which is required for our team, so that it can benefit for us in the long run. We will try to adapt those outcomes. Okay, these are the 3 pillars in the Scrum. We always try to be transparent, we inspect everything whatever is required, and then we try to adapt for the best of our team so that we can achieve all those outcomes. Okay, you say that you are the only best person, I don't want to inspect, I don't want to adapt, whatever may be the scenario, I don't care, then definitely the entire process will fall down. So always you need to go with these 3 important pillars of the Scrum, which makes the life easy and the process easy, so that we can deliver a quality product at the end of the day. Okay, what are some key principles of the Scrum? Again, this is more or less similar only, whatever we have discussed with respect to Agile. You see that we have a control over the process. As a Scrum is a process or a framework which we are using, right? We will have the control and the command towards the process. Okay, you are owning the process as a team, so you have to fulfill all the important part as like with respect to the Scrum. So what are those things which you have to consider? As a team, all of you all are self-organized. Okay, this is one of the things which you have to consider when you're using Scrum. All of you all are self-organized. That means you know what you have to do, rather than somebody come and say you that you have to work on this or you have to work on that. Okay, and there is a good amount of collaboration among the team members, so that every one of us can trust among ourselves. And if anyone is not able to commit, or if anyone is not able to work, at least we can work hand in hand and then try to achieve that outcome. We should always prioritize based on the value. It's not something which you consider as a priority. Always you should focus the customer in your mind, and you should always think the priority considering them, because what is the priority for them should be considered as a priority for us, not what you think as a priority. For me, I will say shipping page is my priority, but that is not important. Your customer should have a login page first to enter into the site, right? That is the priority. So value based priority should be happening, not like whatever you believe that it is a priority you should be focusing on it. Okay, everything is a time boxed. So whatever you do, everything will fit in a time box only. Okay, so for every meeting there will be a time box. That is the reason it is called as an event. Okay, so every meeting whatever you're going to have as part of the scrum will be time boxed. So you have to complete either within the time, or otherwise you should not exceed that time. If you exceed the time, then you should think why we are exceeding, because that is the inspection which we have to do, and we have to see what are the problems, and we need to see how to overcome the problems in the adaptation, what I explained already. And as I said, iterative development, as you know, what is an iterative development? From the starting, I'm explaining this point itself. Iterative development means you keep on developing your feature by feature, and then you complete your product. Okay, that's how we follow with our iterative development altogether. Okay, and again, why Scrum? These are again the same points, more or less like the principles of the Agile, what we discussed. Why do we need a Scrum? Because you know that this is having a very good process, like where you can adapt as per the dynamic market requirement, rather than just saying that no, I don't want to adapt, I want to be sit like that. No, you can adapt as per the dynamic market requirement. You will continuously improve. Okay, as and when the market is expanding, as and when your customer base is increasing, you will always continuously improve according to the market and with your product. You will always have a sustainable pace, okay, where you will always see that you are going in a right direction. Don't always be in a hurry to go and try to achieve something. Go in a proper pace and try to target the market at the right right time, rather than just going in a haphazard way and then doing whatever you want. Go and try to target in a right way so that you can be able to achieve all the outcome. And always you should have a motivation within the team, so that all of us will be geared up to deliver the best quality of the product. Okay, we should always be having a good scope for the problem resolution. If there is any problem as a team, we should work collectively and see what is the best outcome which we can achieve, rather than just leaving it aside. Okay, and we should always be customer centric, because at the end of the day customers are using the product. So we should always consider the customer in our mind, and then we will be able to deliver or design anything. Otherwise we will not be able to achieve the right type of product what the customer requires. Always put your customer in your mind, and then be able to do whatever you want. High velocity means, see, once you get well acquainted with your product, right, you will get a good understanding, and then you will go with a proper direction and in a proper way, so that you can be able to achieve the things in a much faster way. For example, at the start you may take some time, but once you get to know the entire product, the feature, the view and everything, then you will start doing the things in a much better way and in a very quick way. That's what is a high velocity. And ultimately you will have a very efficient development process, because whatever I have explained to you right now, anyway, no one is micromanaging you, no one is self-imposing anything onto you. Okay, you are having all the liberty to select whatever you want, and on top of that your customer is always there with you. You get the feedback from them, you have a very good collaboration, you have a very good motivation within the team. What else do you require for your product to develop or deliver appropriately? So when we got all these things, automatically you will have a very efficient development process. So we don't need to think about it, right? When we are achieving all this as an outcome, obviously the development will be so nice that you will be able to deliver a quality product to your end user, so that they can be able to use it everything efficiently. So these are all are the points which sum it up to say that, hey, I want to use Scrum because these are all other things which I'm able to achieve. And on top of that, I'm also achieving the values and principles of my Agile. What else do I require? So I go with a Scrum without any hesitation to make my product simple, and at the same time, I can deliver the best outcome to my customers. That is the reason why we will be able to use a Scrum. Now, if you see the framework, okay, so here in this framework, Okay, this is again just for your overview only, because maybe by any chance, if you could be able to see like a broader picture over here. Okay, so in this case, if you see right here, you can just see some terms. I'll give you an overview, but we don't need to go into every detail of it, considering the time which we have with us. Okay, so what is a product backlog? Here you will have all your product requirement. Okay, it may be, if you remember, I said right, e-commerce website, your login page, your cart, your shipping, everything will be present in the product backlog. So product backlog is a place like where you have all your product requirements. It's as simple as that. Okay, and then there will be first ceremony, that is your sprint planning. In the sprint planning, what happens is you will have your development team. So your development team will discuss with your product team, and then they will come up with a conclusion that what is that which they want to work on. For example, your product team says to the development team, hey, go and try to work on a login page. Then that will come into the sprint backlog. Okay, so the sprint backlog is owned by the development team, where they will be able to see what is that which they are working on a daily basis. And then they have a meeting called as a daily scrum, where they will attend as a team and they will see the progress, like where they are, what is happening, are there any blockers, if there are any blockers, how to resolve it, what is that which we should be able to discuss. Everything will be done in this daily scrum, so that the team will come on a daily basis. They will discuss where we are, what are we going to do today, are there any blockers or impediments, all those things will be discussed here. So on the final day, there will be a review done. That means whatever the login page you have done, there will be a review which will be provided to your customers. All your team will be involved here. So the demo will be provided to the customers, so that all your customers will feel, let me say, they will feel really happy by seeing the demo. Or if any feedback, if they want, they will be providing it in the sprint review meeting. So once in the sprint review meeting, all the whatever the feedback and everything is set to be done. So that means our review is completed. Review, as the name itself says, we are going to showcase like whatever we have committed, and then we will be able to show them to our customers and get their valuable feedbacks from them. And then finally, you get your retrospective. Retrospective means as a team, you will see how well you have performed in the sprint. Are there anything which you want to think of, like what went well? Okay, what didn't go well? Okay, or are there any improvements which I should be able to think of as a team? So all these things we have to consider in the retrospective, so that in the upcoming sprint, we don't continue the same pattern again. So this is a framework in which the Scrum works. Okay, so you have your product backlog where your requirements are there. In the sprint planning, the development team will discuss with the product team. They will commit whatever is required. They will have a daily Scrum where they will discuss that what is that they are working. Okay, and then are there any blockers or there are any impediments, it will be discussed. And once on the final day, once everything is set to be completed within a month, there will be a review which will be provided to the customers. We will get the feedback from them. Once the feedback is set to be completed, ultimately you see that the retrospective will be done, where the team will retrospect how well we performed, any appreciations, what are the things which didn't go well, what are the improvement points which we can take up, so that in the upcoming sprint, we don't try to repeat the same things except appreciation, because appreciation can be repeated again, whereas the things which didn't go well or any improvements, we have to discuss about. Okay, so this is your entire framework, which keeps on happening in a cyclic manner. Okay, every time it happens in a cyclic way. Now I explained to you login page, right? For the shipping page also, the same cycle will repeat. For the cart page also, the same cycle will repeat. This is a cycle which keeps on repeating continuously with whatever the events which I have explained to you. Okay, so this is how the framework will actually look like. Okay, so now if you see the artifacts, as I said you, this is again the same things. The product backlog is where all your product requirements will be there. Okay, and then your sprint backlog is the commitment which the team has done. Okay, that is your login page or a shipping page or whatever it is. Your product increment is something that which you are able to create it as an increment, and you're able to show it to your customers, and you're gonna get a feedback, and finally you are going to launch this product. Okay, one by one. Like first is a login page, and then you're gonna go with your cart page, like that, one by one. This is your artifacts. Artifacts are your product backlog, where you have your product requirements. You have your sprint backlog, where you have your commitments, which you are gonna commit for that particular particular time, so that you will be able to achieve it. And then your product increment, ultimately that is your the product which you are trying to launch in the market. Okay, so this is what are your artifacts which are required for us. The same things, whatever I have explained to you, are being present again over here. And again, these are your time boxed events. As I said you, right, every event is a time box. Sprint planning, daily scrum, review, retrospective, whatever I've shown you in the framework, based on your sprint duration. As I said you, right, this is what we call sprint. Okay, so you have a duration for it. Then now who fixes this duration? It depends on your project. Okay, it's not me or someone else is going to fix it. It all depends upon your project. If your project demands 2 weeks of sprint, you'll go accordingly. If your project demands 3 weeks of sprint, you'll go accordingly with it. Okay, but if you see, these are the timelines. Okay, you don't need to you don't need to go and try to read this, because these are the standard things which are being followed. As per your sprint duration, you can choose. Let me say if my sprint is of 2 weeks, then I should have a sprint planning of 4 hours. Either I can have it at one go, or otherwise I can have 2 meetings. Okay, 2 hours and then 2 hours. Or you can complete less than 4 hours, but you should not take more than 4 hours. For daily scrum, whatever may be the sprint duration, it is always 15 minutes only. Your daily scrum, where you get the updates. And then your review for 2 weeks, it is again less than approximately 2 hours. And for sprint retrospective, it is approximately 1 hour 30 minutes, provided if you are using a 2 week sprint. If you are using any other weeks, you will be again working accordingly as per those weeks. Okay, that's how you have to choose the timeline based on your sprint duration, and these are the standard times which we need to follow. Anything less than this is fine, but anything more than these timelines which are prescribed here is going to be at a risk, because you are not following the right process. Okay, so what is a scrum master? In order for you to become a scrum master, right, one thing I will say, you need to have a very strong knowledge towards the scrum process, and you should have a very tight grip towards the agile methodology. That's it. As a scrum master, whatever you go through, you are always the authority of the process. You uplift the process, you make the process very simple, so that all the people in your team can achieve the best thing by utilizing the process. It's as simple as that. You don't need to think very complex things as a scrum master. As a scrum master, if you want to start your career, or if you want to become a scrum master, you should always focus towards the scrum process and the agile methodology. That's it. If you know these things in a much better way, you can go ahead and try to act as an authority for your team in terms of process, so that if the process is outlined appropriately, right, you can be able to make your team achieve the end result in a much better way, and they will also be very much satisfied with whatever work they are trying to do. Okay, so if you see the roles and responsibilities, always as a scrum master, you should be assisting your product owner. Okay, if the product owner is having any difficulties, or if your product owner is not able to create any action items, or if your product owner is not able to communicate, you as a scrum master should be able to help your product owner in an efficient way. And you should always try to resolve the conflicts within the team, so that your team can be having a very good motivation and trust, and they can be able to achieve whatever is required. And then you also need to monitor the progress of the team, whether the team is going in a right direction or not, or whether are we having any dependencies, any blockers, or what are the problems which we are facing, so that as a scrum master, you should always be able to help your team in an efficient way. And you should always follow the best practices. As I said, you are a process owner. So as a scrum master, if you are a process owner, you should always see what are some of the best practices in the scrum which we can be used for a team, so that our team can get benefit out of it, and we can be able to achieve the best outcome out of it. Okay, and as in the project management, when I say, so when you're handling all of these things, so you are actually managing your entire team, and then you're able to see that your team is going in a right direction, and you can ensure that all your team is being focused on the development of the goal whatever we have set, and then we are trying to achieve. In between any external disturbances or any problem comes, you should be a person to ensure that all those problems which are being coming, right, you are trying to get rid of those things so that all the people can be able to do the things in a better way. As a scrum master, you should also be able to tackle all of these things in an efficient way. Okay, now do companies need a scrum master? By this time you would have got the answer, right? Because by seeing the amount of agile methodology, the scrum process, the scrum framework, and then right now I explained how as a scrum master you will be helpful. So by this time you would have got an answer. And yes, we need a scrum master. Without a scrum master, how will the process be uplifted? How can you be able to achieve the best process? How can you be able to go ahead and try to deliver a proper product? How can you be able to collaborate with your customer? So you will not be able to achieve anything then. So let me say, even though you may be the greatest team in the world, but still even the greatest team will have a coach to make them still more efficient and still more better. So in the same way, even if there is a process present, still a scrum master is required to ensure that the process is uplifted and we are using the best and the most efficient way so that we can deliver the product in the utmost and in a better way so that everyone can get benefit out of it. Okay, if you see the salary and job market, obviously you will have a really great trend with respect to scrum masters, because this process of agile and scrum can only be brought out by the scrum masters in a more matured way in the organizations. So if you see here, there is an expected growth rate of 24% of hike in the jobs. Okay, and if you see that there is a vacancy also trend which is being present, if you know the process appropriately, as I said, you can fill up those roles, okay, which are actually very much in demand. Only thing, you should be able to know the process efficiently, then you can be able to get a very good outcome from this particular scrum master role. Okay, and you see that there are lots of vacancies. As I said, go to any portal, whatever is your job portal, you can be able to go and see whether you are staying in USA, UK, India, UAE, or in other parts of the world. You see everywhere a scrum master requirement is there. So if you just get a proper grip towards this process, you can go ahead and try to fulfill the condition. If you see the average salary, obviously you are going to get a very good hike over here, because the amount of thing which we are carrying as a scrum master is really important for the product to be delivered with a proper process. So obviously we will also be get paid with whatever we are trying to achieve in order to obtain a great process for our organizations. And then you see that there is a really a good trend being going on with respect to the scrum master roles, and there is a very good amount of salary expectation also, and you are also getting paid very nicely when you're gonna get to be a part of a scrum master, right? You're gonna really get a very good amount of like salaries, if I would say, because this is really having a great demand. And here, if you could see one from the nowkri.com, like where you can be able to see how the salary, if you could see here. Okay, so see the trend here, that is the demand which is being present with respect to the scrum master role. And most of the organizations are moving towards agile and scrum. Okay, most of the organizations, by this time you see that some of them are in transition, some of them are totally being transformed into the agile and scrum, because the importance of agile and scrum is such that if we don't go, then we get stagnated. If we go, then we have to follow appropriately so that we can achieve all the outcomes of the process which are being laid. Okay, so these are the companies who are using the scrum very efficiently as of now. Okay, so if you see again the career path, if you want to become unique in the market, so definitely you should get some certifications like Professional Scrum Master 1, okay, which is a one of the very good certification, like where you need to get 85%. Okay, and then you have a time limit of around 60 minutes, and there are 80 questions, which is said to be a medium level examination. If you get passed in this examination, you will have your PSM1 badge with you. In the same way, we are going to go ahead and try to see all these 3 levels of Professional Scrum Master. Okay, so once you go ahead and try to complete the course, you will be eligible for PSM1 and PSM2. And for PSM3 also you will be eligible, but you need to go and try to write some essay answers for it. It is a descriptive based examination, PSM3. PSM1 and 2 are multiple choice questions. Okay, so once you get certified, you will have a lot of uniqueness in the market for your resume. or for your CV. And if you see, even CSM also we are being eligible. Once you complete the course, you can also be able to get certified as a CSM, which is a Certified Scrum Master certification. And again, like why certification? So you will be able to see like where Shivansh will be giving you a very good idea, like why do you need the certification, what is that which you're going to achieve out of this. So he will be giving you a very good awareness towards this part. And yeah, so over to you, Shivansh, you can please take it forward.
Yes, sir. Is my screen visible now?
Yes,
Hello.
yes, Shivansh,
Okay.
yes.
Before we do that, sir, I see a lot of you guys have asked question, and that's incredible, guys. I'm glad now is the section where we start picking up all the questions. But before that, I want you guys to do one thing. I see a lot of you have already mentioned that the trainer is really good and you're loving the training. So I want you guys to rate the entire session out of five, five being the highest, and anything below than that, please do mention us the reason so that we can improve, but please do make sure that you are rating the entire session so far out of five, five being the highest, and anything below than that, make sure that you are mentioning the reason as well. I will be picking up once I see that majority of you guys have put in the reviews. So make sure that you give us the reviews, and after that, I will be picking up all the questions that you have. I see a few of you guys are asking about the course that we offer as well. I will be talking about that, just a brief, and not getting into the main uh, getting into the depth of it. But uh, yeah, so that I'll cover. So I think somebody asked about how much is this certification fee, or the cost of the certification. The cost of the certification for PSM1 is 150 USD per attempt. And so, like, if you are taking multiple attempts, then every attempt that you are taking, you have to pay $150 for that. So guys, I'm still waiting for everyone to give us the review out of five, and after that only I'll be picking up the questions. So make sure that you wait the session so far out of five, and quickly do it because we are slightly running on running a little low on time. And again, I see some people have mentioned like a little less than four, less than five. Please do mention us the reason as well, so that we can improve in the further sections. As for the presentation, I am sorry, but we won't be providing you the presentation. But the people who have and will be staying till the end will get the recording of the session in the email. So no worries on that. Okay. Sir, we've got a few questions. First of all, I'll pick up a few questions.
Mhm. Sure.
Can you please elaborate on conflicts and the type of conflicts a Scrum Master needs to resolve? It's a common question that we've seen.
Okay. So yeah, thanks, Shivansh. So conflicts means, for example, when a Scrum Master, what type of situation where we can have a conflict? Just for an example, like in a team, let me say the product owner gives a requirement, and somewhere some other person comes and tries to give a requirement. Now a developer gets confused that already like there are two requirements from two different persons, and there would be a problem coming in, like where a developer will really get stressed out and say that, hey, I'm not going to work on anything because I don't know what is the final requirement. So as a Scrum Master, you should make the process very simple there, that whatever the requirement comes, it should always come through the product owner only. If other person is going to come and try to ask you that, hey, you have to work on this, you should say to that person to please go to the product owner, discuss with the product owner, and then come back. And then the product owner will come and try to say that whether it is a priority or whether it is not, it always should come through the product owner. First type of conflict will be this. Second type of conflict would be any other person who may join your meeting and they may try to snatch the time. Okay, whatever the time which you want to utilize, that has to be done with respect to whatever is outcome of your meeting. For example, the outcome of this meeting is we should know what is agile and what is scrum. Let me say if someone comes and tries to say, hey, no, we'll talk about these things, obviously the topic will be deviated. Let me say if I'm a scrum master, I will ensure that our meeting's main agenda is not getting deviated. If there is any external disturbances which are coming to our team, then I would try to get rid of those things. And if anybody is trying to come and have a clash with our team member in the meeting, you have to make sure that you're resolving the conflict and then say that, hey, let's discuss about these things later. Let's try to stick to our outcome or agenda of the meeting and then try to achieve it. Whenever if there is any conflict between two team members in your team, go personally, talk to them, what has happened, and always come up with a proper solution in your own style, because every individual is different to resolve the conflict. So go and try to first listen to both the parties, understand what is that which we can be able to achieve, and always be a diplomatic person as a scrum master rather than supporting one person and then leaving the other person. Try to make the situation simple so that all of us can be able to handle in a proper direction. These are again 2 3 conflicts, and again you may be able to see a lot of other conflicts in your own experience, but the process and the time itself will make you understand how to resolve the conflict. But just for an example, I've provided these things to you all. Yeah,
Okay,
that's it
so
from Shiva.
yes, so we've got a question from Pujitha. Is
Yeah.
will agile methodology suitable for automation too?
Yes, you also have an automation being present. So if you are a part of a test engineer, you also have the automations present where you can plan for every sprint, and then you can try to deliver those automations also. Yes, it is. You can be able to go and try to utilize using the agile methodology.
Okay, we've got a question from Victoria. Does
Mhm.
Scrum only go with tangible product or is service included?
Service, if you let me say, when I say service, see, Scrum is more towards the development process. If you have a product to be developed, right, then you can always use a Scrum as a framework. Let me say service, for example, as a service, when you're providing something, then automatically you'll get some tickets from your customers, like so and so service is not working, or maybe it is down for some time. Then in that case, it's always advisable to go for a Kanban. Kanban is another framework in Agile, like where you can be able to track all your service related tickets, where you can give some SLA for it, like whether 24 hours or within 48 hours you're going to complete. So you can always use a Kanban approach for it. But if the product is more towards a development approach, then we can go with a Scrum. That will be the best part.
Okay. We've got a question from 𝐂𝐿𝐵𝐿. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Whether regression testing needs to be performed after each sprint?
Yeah, that depends upon the QA team, right? Like for example, let us say when we are going to release the product, right? Before we go ahead and try to release the product, right? So we may have, let me say, one particular point saying that let's complete 2 to 3 sprints and then we want to release the product. Then you can do end-to-end regression testing, right? At the sprint level also you will have a regression testing. Okay, that also you have to do, because you need to complete all your whatever work which you have done for that sprint, right? You have to see end-to-end functionality whether it is working fine or not. Sprint level regression testing will also happen before you release your product. Even at that time also end-to-end regression testing will happen.
Okay, we've got a question that's quite common, sir. That is, do you need to have any prerequisites for learning Scrum?
We don't need any prerequisites. First thing is interest. Second thing is you should at least have an idea like what is SDLC, software development life cycle, like how a software gets developed. That is how to gather the requirement, and then how to do analysis, how to design it, how to develop it, how to test it, and then finally releasing the product. Just an idea, not like you have to dig deep and try to know about it. Just that basic information is sufficient, after which everything would be done in a normal way, Shivansh.
Okay, so guys, again, if you guys have any questions, put them down in the comment section and we'll pick them up as much as we can. So we've got a question like, is Scrum, you can be used outside of IT, for example, in finance or construction, or is it restricted to the IT industry itself?
No, it is nothing like that. Like, for example, wherever there is a scope, whatever the complex product we are trying to deal with, we can always be able to go ahead and try to use it there. So there is no such thing like, okay, we have to use in IT or we have to use in some other areas. Wherever the product is said to have a lot of uncertainties or unknown variables, and if you want to use transparency, inspection, and adaptation using a Scrum framework, right, you can be able to use it wherever it can be, either it is IT, construction, or finance.
We got a question. Is Scrum only for software development and manufacturing of products only? It's a question from Victoria.
Yeah, as I said, right? So software development, whatever you want to go ahead and try to do, as I mentioned right now. So apart from whatever the software development, you can also be able to do it for other areas also, wherever the uncertainties are more, and wherever you want to go ahead and try to add some parameters, right? So like for example, inspection, transparency, and adaptation, you can be able to use it. Not only in software, anywhere we can be able to use, as I mentioned right now.
Okay, we've got a question from Pujitha. How many frameworks are there in Agile?
See, there are actually a lot of frameworks. Okay, but one thing to be noted here is, even though there are a lot of frameworks being available in the market, we should be able to consider that Scrum is one of the most famous framework. After which we have a Kanban, and then we have extreme programming, feature driven development, Crystal. There are a lot of frameworks, but important is Scrum and Kanban. Okay, Scrum is used exclusively for development purpose. Kanban is used for the maintenance tickets. Rest of all things are there like extreme programming, feature driven development, but they are not being widely used frameworks in the HI.
Okay, guys, any questions, any other questions you guys have? Now you can put them in the chat window. We'll be continuing the session because we are slightly, kind of thin on the time slab now. Again, any questions, put them down in the chat window. And again, for the people who have not reviewed the session so far, make sure that you do that. These reviews help us to make these sessions better for you. And throughout the session, we want to improve, so that you get the best learning experience. Okay, sir, you can put yourself on mute now, and whatever questions that you have, if there are any common questions, then we can pick them up as well. Thank you. Okay, guys, you got to know about what is Scrum, what's the important, what's the demand like. You also got to know about what is the certification exam like, and what are the different certifications that's available in the industry for Scrum. Now, let's have a look at why this certification is important. First of all, there are too many CVs. I think because of because in the there is a huge rise in the demand of Scrum Master. s- Sorry, there is also a lot of people who are now applying for it. I'm pretty sure you would all be, putting you would all relate to this particular thing. So what happens is that HRs or hiring managers do not have that much amount of time on their hands to actually go through each and every individual CV. So according to a report as well, that which I think recently read, around 18 seconds is the amount of time, or is an average time, that a hiring manager or an HR, stays on a resume, or actually read your resume. So you need to gather their attention quickly. You need to show them that your resume or CV stands out from the bunch of CVs that are there. How do you do that? Well, a certification would help you in doing that. My question to you right now is, you see, there are two different CVs right now. It is very much, kind of easy for you to say and believe as well, that when you look at these two different CVs, that the certifications really makes these CVs stand out from the bunch. I think you would also agree that if there is a hiring manager and he is looking at a CV, and these CVs have these certification badges on them, then it's the probability of that person is CV at least being shortlisted for a personal interview would much more, would highly increase, right? Do you all agree with me on this? Victoria, yes, the certifications are accepted globally. Yes, Uluchi, definitely. So this particular session is just to give you guys an overview for the beginners who do not know anything about Scrum, is to give you guys an uh, you know in insight of sorts towards what the entire technology and software is all about. And then I will be talking about the course, the training program that we have in a short while. But this is just an overview of sorts. You definitely need to put in a lot more hard work, a lot more hours in learning and understanding these things. Okay, we already covered the common questions as well. Now, the very obvious question that comes up is how do you learn all of this uh, quickly and in the most efficient way possible as well is the point. Because like you saw those higher paid salaries and that amount of money that's there, that's existing. How do you get to that point in the most efficient way possible? That is the question that exists now. Well, this is something where K21 comes in. K21 Academy is well known for its learning paths because this is the most efficient way that you will ever find to actually learn all the needed skills in the most less amount of time possible. Now we're going to start with introduction to Agile and Scrum. Then we will be looking at Scrum overview. After that, again, right now you just got a very brief overview of whatever things that are there. You got to know a little about what is Agile, but again, there is still a lot more things that you need to cover. On day number 2, we cover Scrum artifacts and user stories. And on the similar day, we cover another module, that's Scrum events. After that, on day 3, we cover Scrum Master roles and responsibilities as to what you need to be doing in that. And again, this is, you got a gist of what the topic is today, but again, there is a lot more things that you need to learn and understand. Then you have facilitation, coaching, and servant leadership. After that, on day 4, we cover product planning. On day 5, we cover agile estimation and Fibonacci sequence. On day number 6, we cover Scrum project phase initiation using Jira. And on day number 7, we start with the exam and CV preparation. So throughout this journey, or these few days, you get from the very starting point as a beginner who does not know anything to getting at a point where a lot more than that. So again, this is the best and the most efficient way you'd find. And again, all of these things are put in that particular order, keeping in mind, number one, your own learning journey, and second, the level, how the level should progress for you to handle all of the knowledge in a very constructive and a very possible manner. Now, this is what K21 Academy offers. It's called Scrum Master Certification Training Program. We've got 9 modules. We've got 40 plus lessons. We've got interview questions in that. We've got exam and CV preparation in that, and on-job support as well. Well, 9 modules you already got to see. 40 lessons are the ones, each lesson that was mentioned in these different modules. After that, we have interview questions. That means once you are done with your certification, obviously we want you to go out there and get a job. So how do you do that? You do that with the help of preparing for the interviews itself. So we give you a long list of interview questions which regularly gets updated, and whatever, if you're not able to understand any interview questions, again, our team would be there to help you with that. We also have exam and CV preps. I believe Ulu, I think Ulu was asking this. I'm really sorry again if I'm missing the name. Uluchi was asking this. So this is how we help you out. So exam preparation is there. You get to understand the entire pattern of his exam, how the questions are coming, what is the general idea of the questions, what's the kind of questions that are coming, and then we also give you sample exam questions as well, which is again very similar to what the questions are coming in the exams, and we help you in that particular space after teaching you everything that you need to clear the certification itself. Then you also have the CV prep, in which we help you prepare a CV for every job that you apply. In my personal opinion, every job that you are applying for, you need to have a brand new CV for that matches the job description of that particular job posting perfectly. So the chances of your CV getting shortlisted and you being called for a job interview increases immensely. So you need to keep that in mind. After that, we do have on-job support as well. On-job support means that once you are able to get a job for the next 1 year of you buying the course, our team will be there right by your side to help you with whatever doubts you're facing directly at the job itself. So that's how K21 Academy helps you and supports you throughout the initial phase of your career, not just during your learning, during your preparing for the certification exam, but even after you have cleared the certification and gotten your job. I see somebody in the initial part of the session was saying that I'm able to clear the certification, but now I'm not able to get you a job. So even there might be a few reasons. It could be the lack of experience. It could be the lack of skills and knowledge. and it could be that maybe in the interviews itself you're not able to anticipate or understand the kind of questions that are coming forward, because again, what you learn and prepare for the certification and what they are asking in the interview can vary and sometimes vary as well. So you need to be prepared on both the different fronts in that, but possible way. Sai, it's a course which is going to prepare you for Scrum. It's like as a whole, but throughout this particular training program as well, we prepare you for PSM1, and so for when you clear PSM1, again, whatever the level is progressing, we are going to help you through that entire journey itself as well. Again, Arpana, that these levels PSM1, PSM2, PSM3, again, this is like, even if you look at a Microsoft Azure certification, you'll see that there are fundamentals, there is associate, and there is an expert level certification. So these are the three different levels of the certification. Obviously, it's preferable that you clear all the three certifications, because again, it shows that you have the desired knowledge for these three different levels. But again, you don't need to think about the PSM3 directly. You need to first focus on PSM1, then PSM2, and then PSM3, and so for so on forward. Again, guys, I'm still here. If you guys are having any sort of questions, you should be asking those questions up. And again, there is a link that you can see that's on the footer. Make sure you go and check it out. I will be talking about it in a bit, but if you are curious, you can just don't leave the session. Just open your browser and you can just type the link. That's k21academy.com/scrum02. A few of you were asking me about questions regarding what are the things that you need to uh, cover in terms of the next step. What are the next steps that you need to take for you to get ready or prepared for this? This is the link that's going to help you in that. So again, like I mentioned, what what sets K21 apart from the other training portals you're going to find online? First of all, like I said, free on-job support for 1 year. I honestly have not seen any job portal that supports that. Then you get free unlimited retakes for 1 year. That means once you enroll in a training program, for the next entire 1 year, you can enroll in any more batches that starts in that for starts for that particular training program. Then we have weekly live interactive sessions. Like here, a lot of you guys in the initial part of the session have complained that, okay, I am muted right now, I want to be unmuted. Over here, unfortunately, we can't do that because the number of people are a lot. But in these particular sessions, we have a cap of 25 people. So even when you are buying the particular course, after the first 25 people, you need to wait for the next batch to start. And in that particular space, we start we have started this, that you can unmute yourself and directly ask your questions in the chat window, sorry, in directly through the trainer. And that is what we are able to achieve here as well, because over there, because the number of people are less, you are able to ask these questions directly from the trainer, and the entire class is much more interactive rather than you just sitting back. Then you get to learn. You not only have live classes, but you also have the option that you can learn all of these things at your own pace by watching the pre-recorded videos. So you get the live classes, you get the recording of the live classes, and you also get the pre-recorded videos. Then we also have WhatsApp and ticketing support system. Usually on WhatsApp, we reply to your doubts, queries, issues in around 12 to 24 hours. And depending again on the doubt, and if it's a much more complex doubt, maybe you're working and you have a much more complex doubt, then we ask you to go to a platform called Zendesk. That's a ticketing support system where you punch in the doubt that you have, you get a ticket number, and that doubt will be resolved in around 24 to 48 hours, again, depending on the complexity of the doubt. Then you also, like I mentioned, for the every live session, there is going to be there in the training program, you will get the recording for that, and you will have the access to those recordings for lifetime. Again, the entire agenda, the entire goal of the training program is, number one, you get a job, and the second, you clear the certification. And again, these are not in any particular order. You can first clear the certification and get a job, or you can first get a job and then clear the certification. I've seen it happening both the ways, so absolutely no worries on that. Okay, I think there are a lot of questions that I haven't checked. I'm so sorry. Okay, okay, Mariam, usually I get what your point is, but not every company is going to have that requirement. A lot of companies are okay if you are able to, show them that I have got the skills, I have got the, I have done projects in the same, and in this particular space as well, our trainer would have one particular, I think one, there is going to be at least one dedicated class where they'll be talking about how you can get out of this stigma or this particular problem that you're facing. Okay, what's the next question? Again, it's not a, it's not a compulsion that you can't get a job without the certification, but it is definitely, it, it increases your chances quite high. Like if you are able to, clear the certification, if you have got the badge, the chance of getting you a job is much higher, especially when you don't have any experience. Eric, no worries, buddy. I think again, if you guys have any problems regarding that, I think I've got my team here. I've got Ankit with me. I've got Azar with me as well. You can very well ask your questions down below. And if you want to know more about it, Eric, as well, you can just put down your and actually, you need to go on Scrum, k21academy.com/scrum02. Go attend that class. I'm telling you that right now. I'll quickly get to that class as well because I think you're gonna like that. They are having your, no tense regarding that. I think there might be something special for you in that particular class. And if there are people who want to know more about the course, if you guys have any doubts regarding that, make sure you drop down number one your phone number with the country code, and the second is your email in the chat window. Again, all of this is confidential. Your chat is only visible to me and my team, and you can be assured that your contact info will not be handed over to anybody. So that is a guarantee, a personal guarantee from my end. Again, it's very much possible to clear the certification, guys. Again, these are individuals just like you, and they have been able to not only clear the Scrum Master certification, that CSM, they have been able to clear the PSM1, Professional Scrum Master Level 1, as well as the PSM number 2. We at the very moment, this particular training do not support the PSM3, but again, we are in the process of incorporating that as well. And the people who are able to clear the PSM1 and PSM2, they have gotten the required assistance they need for the PSM3 certification, and some of them have cleared that as well. Again, these are some of the many people from K21 Academy who have cleared the Professional Scrum Master certification. We have got multiple amount of these. You can even check it out. Just go at k21academy.com/testimonials, and over there you'll find tons of these. Honestly speaking, there are many of them. Again, how our students rate us, I think you already got to know how our trainers are and what's the quality of their training. You again, 5 rating is probably a very common number that we see on a regular basis, let me assure you that. Okay, unlimited retakes, as somebody have asked me on LinkedIn. So buddy, unlimited retakes means once you have bought the course, like let's suppose you've bought the course in 1st of April 2023. So from 1st of April to 1st of April 2020 to 1st April 2024, you will be able to enroll in as many batches as you want. For example, you enrolled in batch number 1 at 1st of April 2023. So on that batch, for example, you are attending the live classes, you had to attend a wedding and you missed a few classes and you're not able to catch up again. So no worries, you can join the next batch that starts, let's suppose, in June or May. So absolutely no problem. That's what unlimited retakes means. So for the next for the entirety of 1 year, you'll be able to join as many batches. Let's suppose you join the second batch. Some thing or another happened, you're not able to understand a few things, you want to join a new batch. The next batch starts, you can join that one as well. So no worries on that. Our team would be there to help you and support you through that process. But again, you don't need to join 5 different batches, honestly, I believe. But because again, every live class that happens, the recording is there. But and throughout the entire training program, in fact the entire 1 year of you buying the course, the groups are active, the WhatsApp groups are active. Our team is there to provide you assistance throughout that duration, so you can directly ask your doubts and questions over there, and you'll get the answers to that. Okay, again guys, these are, you guys have already, experienced this. You've already been able to understand this particular, how this entire thing works, and I think you have yourself witnessed how these entire sessions are and how good our expert trainers are. Sai Krishna, you can get to know about that particular detail, the how much the course is on k21academy.com/scrum02. There is another free class. Again, let me just quickly run through that. I think a lot of you guys have been asking. So yeah, this is the one. So we've got another free class absolutely for free. Again, it's slightly longer. I think it's 2 hours or something. Uh, Again, it is going to be what is Scrum Master roles and responsibilities. We go a step down. We go step down in terms of, we go a little bit more deeper, and we cover a lot of different things. Along with that, we cover the details of the course as well. There are a lot of different things that you get along with the course as well, and what's the price of the course, everything is kind of mentioned in this particular free class. That's k21academy.com/scrum02. If you guys have any questions, you can put them down below. If you wish to not actually attend this class and directly want to go and buy the course, you can put down your contact details, that is your email ID as well as your phone number in the comment section. Please do that so that somebody from my team can directly contact you once this session is there. So Rohini, it's not just one session, it's a bunch of sessions. Like I showed you, that the entire course is divided into different days, that is around 8 days. So the sessions are usually on the weekends. The classes are around 2 hours, I think 2 hours to 3 hours. I'm not so sure about the duration. But again, this is how this happens. It's not just one day, it's a bunch of sessions that happens over a duration of a period of time. So yeah. Yes, Arpana, you will have to pay the certification fee if you have to retake the course, retake the certification exam. But you don't need to worry about that. To be very honest, if you are able to gather everything that we mentioned in the learning path in this respective way, and especially if you are taking up with the K21 Academy, then everything is done. I'm 99% sure you'll be able to clear the certificate. And this is actually a truth, because majority of our learners have been able to clear the certification, the PSM1 and so on for PSM2 as well. So no worries on that. To be very honest, I'm not, I'm not trying to be just, trying to flatter you or anything in that particular space, but it's actually a very truthful thing, because we have gotten multiple reviews in how well the entire certification training program is structured. You're able to see the results that I just showed you as well, because the entire thing is structured in a way. Even if you're a beginner, we start from the very basic introduction to Agile and Scrum, and throughout you get to experience and learn everything one by one. No, Shankar, that doesn't happen. They don't held in one time. Like one class would happen. Like, okay, let's suppose, let me just show you uh this learning path. Just a second. Let me just show you once the learning path. I think it will be much easier for you guys to understand from here. So if you'll see here, you'll see that okay, there are seven different days. That means every single day there will be covered that particular topic that's mentioned here. So on day number 1, we'll only be covering introduction to Agile and Scrum overview. That's it. That's all we're covering. On day number 2, we cover Scrum artifacts and user stories and Scrum events. All the topics that are here we'll be covering on day number 2. And then on day 3 and so on forward. Not all of them are going to be covered in one this. There are not going to be only one session and so on. You'll be getting the recording for each and every video. This will be held on weekend. It won't be happening all every day, because we understand all of majority of you guys are working professionals. You're working in your own individual jobs, so it's very much possible that you're not able to kind of take the time off for a session every single day. So we have kept these sessions only on weekends. Danny, again, for the course, that particular detail, just go at k21academy.com/scrum02. Register for this free class. You'll get the link. Attend this. You'll get actually much more knowledge on this particular part as to what is included in the particular course itself, and a lot more different things. Again, the reason I'm asking you all to do that and register for this class at Scrum 02 is because you will be able to have a lot more for the same price you'd be paying. Again, there are bonuses there. There is an off as well, I believe. So a lot of different things you get in that particular class. So make sure just you go there and attend that first. And again, if you directly want to buy the course, no worries in that as well. If you don't want to waste time, or if you don't want to, put your time in that and watching that video, and you are very much sure that okay, you want to buy the course, just mention your phone number with the country code and your email, and my team will directly reach out to you. This would span over, I think, 6 to 7 weeks again. But we always say that the learning is journey is on. It's very individualized to that particular person. That means it doesn't necessarily needed to be finished in 6 to 7 weeks. You can do it early. I have seen people do it early because again, like I said, you have the option to watch the pre-recorded videos directly. You don't need to wait and watch the live. You don't have to wait for the entire lives to happen. You can just buy the course and go through the entire thing, the entire duration of the pre-recorded videos directly and cover it up. It depends on you, and you can even take a little time back. You watch the weekend videos, then you come back and watch the recordings again and practice, and so on. Again, Aftab, it depends on your pace. Like it again, like I mentioned, it's very individualized to every person. We can't really say that okay, you have to do this. You have to cover like 8 weeks, well, 8 days or 50 days or whatever that time is. You need to decide that on your own. It's very much easy for you to cover all everything in these 7 consecutive weekends that I mentioned. But again, this is very individualized to what is happening, what is going to be happening with you. So take your time, and it's not a rush per se, because every person what not able to register in the above link. Are you sure? k21academy.com/scrum02 scrum02. Somebody from my team would could you please put it in the chat window, so that chat window in terms of the other chat window that's visible to everybody, so that they can just directly click on that and able to. Okay. Okay, Jitendra, try it now and let me know if you're able to, if you're facing the same issue. I'll have a look then. And somebody from my team, can you please put these links in the comment section of on our social media handles as well? I've watched many already and works on it already. I just want to be hands-on and take those exams. Victoria, could you please mention your phone number with your country code as well as your email ID? Somebody from my team will reach out to you and help you with you guys can have a conversation, and they could just help you out with whatever you need in that space, and they'll be able to explain you things better, and they'll be able to understand your situation better, I believe. Guys, any more questions, keep them coming. I am really glad that today you guys are so active and you're asking your questions. So great to see that. Just make sure that you are asking every question that you have in mind before, and I'll be able to answer those questions before I end this particular session. Guys, for the other people, are you able to register on this particular link, k21academy.com/scrum02? If you have already registered, could you please mention it in the chat window? Victoria, please do mention your country code as well, or at least just mention your country so that Okay, you're from the US, right? I think. Okay, you're from Texas. No worries. Uh, yes, you're able to register. I think you need to check your internet, Jitendra, because again, people are able to register. If link is the same, you can just note it down someplace and maybe try a little later. Or otherwise, no worries. I think we'll send you an email with the link. So no worries on that. Danny, I was asking actually, Victoria. Anybody who's interested in the course and directly wants to buy it, just mention your phone number with the area code or the country code and your email, and we'll just get it done. That's great. That's great, Danny. Again, guys, any questions, put them down below. In the meantime, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you go that. We are so close to actually hitting 37,000 subscribers. The family is growing like crazy right now. And a lot of you guys have been enjoying our videos as well. It's absolutely for free again. And, you know, we have bunch of videos, like a lot of them. We even started a little talk show as well a while ago, and these were with industry professionals with multiple decades of experience actually. So again, that's great on that part. Again, guys, make sure if you guys have any questions, you let me know, and we will be covering those up. Apart from that, make sure that you join our DevOps community, just k21academy.com/DevOps community. And this would definitely help you out because it's a great place to connect with other people who are trying to get into the or trying to or are already into the same industry as you. And you kind of talk a lot of different things and interact with each other. So that's incredible. Guys, I'm gonna keep this session alive for a few more minutes. Any questions whatsoever, please make sure that you put them down in the chat window. I'll be more than happy to answer the questions. I'm looking. That's great, Danny. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that, buddy. Again, any questions, guys, make sure you put them down below in the chat window, and I will be picking them up as we like immediately now, because we are almost at the end of the session. I'm just hanging on to make sure that your questions are answered. That's great, man. That's great, Danny. I really appreciate the kind words. Any questions? I'm just going to check our social media handles once, and if there's any question there, I'll answer that. Okay, we don't have any questions from my YouTube for sure. Okay, I believe there are no more questions anymore. So again, thank you very much, guys. Everybody who joined in. Today was one of the most energetic sessions I've ever done, and it was incredible. You guys were incredible as well. A lot of you guys are ready to take the next step. I love this session as well. So again, for the people who have not registered for the free class, make sure you go and register for the free class at k21academy.com/scrum02. And it's going to be incredible. It's going to be epic for anybody that eventually decides to enroll in the training program as well. So again, I wish you all the very best as well. And thank you very much. Uluchi, I didn't answer your question. Which question was it? Wait, just a minute, let me have a look. Can you please answer that question? Can you please pose that question once more? I think again, like you didn't mention as to what job role are you talking about in AWS as well. So Agile Scrum Master and AWS Cloud. What job in AWS Cloud? There is Cloud Solutions Architect. There are data engineers. There are so many different job roles that exist in AWS. So you need to be more objective on that. But no worries, no worries. You just can put that particular query onto our any of the. You can just drop us a message on any of our social media platform: Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, and we'll surely love to answer that question for you. Okay, guys, thank you very much again joining in. You guys have been incredible. Thank you very much for asking your questions, and I'll see you guys directly in the free class. Thank you very much. Bye bye.